All right, so this is my attempt at going live here on our Journey Sketches page. I am going to make sure, as usual, that I am popping up here and also that you can hear me. So I'm going to turn this up a bit. Popping up here. Okay, I think I can hear myself. So I think I am good. I'm going to go ahead and just do a couple of technical things. Let me know. Hi, Lynn. I see you. I see a few people. Let me know if you can hear me okay and if everything is looking good. So give me a little thumbs up or type in. Hi, Terry. Happy Mother's Day to you too, Terry. I'm assuming you guys can hear me okay. I think I'm good. I'm going to go ahead and pop this up a little bit. Oh, let me turn that volume off. Hi, Debbie. Can you hear me okay? I'm assuming yes. I'm assuming yes. Just want to make sure before I continue, you know, I want to make sure. See, a few people are popping on. Well, if you can't hear me, say so. Otherwise, I'm just gonna like go for it. Hi, Janice. Good to see you. So here I am. I'm live. So for those of you who maybe are new, Kazan Clark and I host Journey Sketches every week where we make a sketch and invite you guys to play. And we are Fun Stampers Journey coaches, so we use our Fun Stampers Journey product, but anyone can participate and anyone can use whatever product they have. We welcome all. But of course, we love our Fun Stampers Journey people and products. Hi, everyone. Hi, Lori. Good to see you. A few others I think I missed. Yes. So, yeah, so some of you know, those of you who've been here know that I've been a little ill lately. I went to Mexico and I caught a parasite and it was no good. It's honestly, to be completely honest, it's still no good. But well, I'm not going to get into it all. All I can say is medicine is coming. Hopefully this week it'll come and hopefully that will kill the critter and I'll be good to go. But I've spent all weekend resting, and so as I've rested, and I also did 3 days of no sugar, no carbs, which felt like killed me. I think maybe that probably helped a little bit too. Granted, I can't continue that because I work full time, so I have to be able to have energy, and that particular diet just about did me in. So I had to get off of that. And so that probably has helped me get some energy back today. So anyway, I'm glad to be back up here feeling a little bit better. Not healed, unfortunately, but hopefully when I get those meds this week, I should be good to go. Let's cross our fingers. If you're the praying type, keep praying for me. But today I feel good and good enough, well enough to be able to come on here and show you about show you our sketch 31. So Journey Sketch 31. So because I haven't felt well, I really haven't had time to create lately, because honestly, all of my free time has been spent on my back, and that's not fun. But yesterday, pretty much rested all day, and I then had some time in the evening to create, and I came up with this little guy. So this is what I showed you guys a little earlier. I posted it. Thank you, Lori, for praying. I really appreciate it big time. But this is the card I created. And someone had asked me what kind of fold is this into. I know I've seen something similar like this before, but I just kind of was playing around and made it together. This fold does not open. So the way I did it was this piece is the piece that comes in and out. So it's almost kind of like a belly band, I guess you can think of it that way. And then anything you want to write, you could do your little greeting or your card part on the back. All right, so that's just the way that I did it. I'm sure there is another card that has this where it opens up. And to be quite honest, when I was creating this, I was thinking, ooh, I could do like a little bow where they can kind of unravel the bow and open the card. Or I mean, there's so many different things you can do, right? But I like to keep it like this because I thought, man, I loved this design, so I wanted to keep it simple. Simple-ish, right? So anyway, so this is kind of a freestanding piece. It pulls out, and that's part of the design, all right? So this card does not, quote-unquote, open up. It's just a pull-out piece, all right? So the sketch that goes with this is this right here. So very simple sketch. Now, if you wanted to create a card where it does open up, go for it, it's your card. But kind of follow this design. Or even if you want to create a design that isn't necessarily interactive, but maybe it has like 4 triangular pieces to it, it follows the sketch, go for it. You can go whatever route you want, all right? So this is sketch 31. Okay, so I was gonna go ahead and show you kind of how I did this, kind of how I made the folds and whatnot. And so I'm gonna go ahead and do that, all right? Let me see if I have any questions. I know the stamp set is amazing. I'll turn my camera, I'll pop my camera up and I'll show you the stamp sets and everything else, okay? All right, so give me a couple of seconds while I do this. It's never pretty, it's never pretty. All right, here's my work surface and I'm gonna have to zoom in. Oops, sorry. See if we can go in a little bit. Okay, I try to zoom in and then it won't let me zoom in. So let's see if I can do it before. Oh, a little too much. Sorry. Thanks for your patience, guys. Thank you, Deborah. It's good to see you too. It's definitely not been fun, that's for sure. Okay, I'm gonna pop this out because I think it's impeding my zooming in abilities. Okay, how about, I think that's probably pretty good. Okay, Kathy, you say, is it the watercolor pencils you use? It is. It is the watercolor pencils. I did use them. I'm gonna make sure that what you're seeing is, I think this is okay. You could see my card, my sketch, so that should be pretty good. Okay, so I guess you want to know the stamp set. Yes, the stamp set is amazing, so gorgeous. It is a Better Place stamp set. I know you're thinking, but Janice, that's the one that's so hard to get. But don't worry, I know. So for those of you who don't know, because there are plenty of people on here who are not Fun Stampers Journey coaches, but we offer in our catalogs Hostess exclusives, and this particular set is just that. So it's a Hostess exclusive for customers who put in orders that are totaling $600 or more. They could purchase this amazing set, and a lot of times people are thrown off by that $600 mark, and I don't blame you, that is a lot. But I just want to encourage you to be creative, especially if you're a coach. You can easily put this as a you know, just a party where you guys can all pitch in. So you can have a mystery host, and that's what I'm doing for the next couple months, is having mystery hostesses, and then the one person that, you know, is the mystery host for that month, or however many times you do it, could have the possibility of getting this great and amazing set. Normally $39.95, and it's $21.95 if you hit that party total. So anyway, it is doable, even though it may seem a little scary. Oh, I see if you popped in. Hi, Latoria. Hi, Sandy. Yay, I'm so glad you love your cutter. Thank you so much for popping in and saying hi. So this is the stamp set that I use. It is amazing. It is gorgeous. And this is just the first half. There's two parts to it. So there's this part, and then there's the second one, which, let's see if I can grab it here, which has this gorgeous world's globe on it, and it's just this antique beautiful deal, and oh my goodness, I'm in love with it. I've yet to make something with the globe, but I think maybe it's intimidating me a little bit, but I'm gonna do it because I love it so much. But anyway, what drew me to this particular set for this card are those flowers. Okay, so I'm gonna move those off for a minute because I want to show you the main, kind of like the main deal with this card, which is the fold, right? That's kind of what makes this card a little bit unique, is the fold. So you're going to start off and you're going to get a piece of cardstock, and this is our Cool Pool paper, okay? And it is 5.5 by 8.5, okay? So if you're using your grid paper, it should fit right along that bottom left corner, the A2 size, all the way over to the 8.5 mark. And I don't know if that actually shows up on the camera. Sorry, I put it way down below. So this is the fold is very specific. Now you can use whatever scoring tool you have. I have this Score Buddy that I've had for years, and it's fantastic. If not, you can use your scoring blade on your trimmer. That works too. You know, our trimmer comes with a scoring blade and a cutting blade. This is just a little bit easier. I've had this for years, so that's what I do. So you're going to line it up on the corner, and you're going to score it at 2 1/8. Okay, 2 1/8. Then you're going to flip it or turn it and basically do the same score line on the other side. Okay, so now you've got 2 scored lines, all right? And we're going to go ahead and fold those in. And that should make them come right up to each other, kind of like double doors. Okay, and that gives you also, because of the way that the 8.5 length, this right here, this measurement is 4 1/4, which is your typical card size, right? Okay, so this is your little double door fold, and then from here to create the triangular part, I actually used my grid paper. You could use a ruler, but the grid paper is fantastic because it's got your ruler already there on the side and on the bottom. I was trying to scooch it up so you could see that. I've got all my pencils up there, they're running away. Anyway, so this is what I say, 5.5. And so basically I want to find the middle, and the middle of 5.5 is 2 3/4. So grab your pencil, which of course I had over here somewhere. Here it is. You're going to put a little mark at 2 3/4 there. Okay, and you're going to do that on both sides. So I'm going to turn that around, line it up, and put the mark at 2 3/4. Okay, so now you have the middle marked on both of those, and I don't know why mine are a little off. How about we just say that's the middle? There we go. There we go. And then from here, you've got a couple options. You could draw a line with a ruler. Okay. So you could take your ruler and you could draw a line from the corner of that first fold to the middle here. Okay, I can do that. Just make sure that you're right on the edge there. Okay. And you could do the same thing on this side. And once you have those lines, you can take your scissors and you can just trim it, right? You can just trim these little parts off. Or you can take your cutter and you can trim it. And honestly, that's what I think I did both. I think I tried both. So I'm gonna go ahead and grab my trimmer over here. And I lined up that line just right there along that middle cutting point. And I actually started my cutting towards the middle. I don't know if you saw that, but I kind of moved my blade up and towards the middle, then went up and went down. Sometimes I find that every now and then it'll get that first little cut. If I don't go quite with enough pressure, it might like hitch a little bit, and I don't like that. So every now and then, so it's like, because it's starting to make that initial, that pressure, I don't like the hitch. So I'll just start in the middle and go out and then go back in. And that cuts it real easy. I don't know if that made sense to you guys. Maybe you guys had experienced that before. If not, it's just me. And then I'll come in and I'll erase that little bit there that's left over. Okay? All right, so there's the first triangular piece, and I'm doing the same thing for the next side. And technically I don't have to draw the line. If it helps you, that's great. I can just line it up based on the corner up here and the little dot that I drew. But you might see my head because I'm getting old, right? And I can't see. There we go. And then start and stop there. Now do make sure you put plenty of pressure as you're cutting, because you're cutting at an odd angle and you're not putting this up against the edge of the cutter, it can shift on you. So just be really careful when you do that. And then again, lining up that middle dot with the corner right there. Does that make sense to you guys? Hi, Lynn. Oh, hi, Kathy. There we go. Again, I'm just going to lift up just a little bit, but I'm going to cut and cut. All right, and then that's really it. That's all I'm going to do for this part of my cutting. I didn't do a line there, so I've got nothing to worry about. And then you've got your base. So here's your card base. Super cute, huh? Now, when I got to this point in my design, I was like, oh, it'd be so cute. I could do 2 little holes and then weave some ribbon, and it could be one of those opening, and it kind of reminds me of an invitation almost. But I went a different direction. So I'm going to keep this off to the side because I wanted to use this, and I wanted to use a darker blue as well. And so I thought to go ahead and put a little panel, another panel behind it to give a little bit of a pop of blue that you see here in my original card there. See that little pop of blue? So what I did was I went and grabbed some of our Blue Lagoon paper. I kind of liked this color. I liked how it looked with our cool pool. And made sure that it was 5 1/2, so that's the length of the card, right? And 2 1/4, I believe, is I went a little bit further out than the original, so about 1/8 of an inch further out. So yes, it will overlap some, but it really, for this particular card, it does not matter because I'm going to be putting this main focal point right in the center, so it doesn't matter if it overlaps a little bit. Okay, so the same technique that I did to create this triangle, I'm going to do for this panel here. So again, moving this off to the side, I'm going to line up my panel. Again, it's 5 1/2 by 2 1/4, and there's my 2 3/4 there mark. Do the same thing for this one. So we want one for each side, for the left and the right, and hopefully I'll get them to match this time. Did I? I did, woohoo! Okay, and so I'm gonna go ahead and take my cutter, my trimmer, and do the same cut that I did with this base, all right? Okay, so I'm gonna just try to go fairly quickly with this, lining up the little dot that I made with my pencil with the corner here. I think I've got it. Lifting up, pressing it, putting my blade here, and then down and over. It just kind of helps because sometimes that initial, like, our cardstock is nice and thick and awesome, and our trimmers are amazing. I love them, but it sometimes just helps it just a wee bit to not just get over that little first initial bump. So here's the first triangle, and then going ahead and doing the second one. And I'll erase that little mark here in a minute once I'm ready. And this is our Blue Lagoon, so our Fun Stampers Journey Blue Lagoon paper. Okay. All right, so I've got 2 of our marks, and technically I probably don't need to erase this, but why not? So we've got 2 of our triangles ready to roll, and we've got our card base, and really from here we're just adhering them beneath it. Hi Sharon, good to see you. Tell me where you guys are coming from. Sharon, I'm not sure if I've met you before. Tell me where you're coming from. I'd love to know. Okay, so I've got our triangles. Now watch. This will fit right underneath, and you've got that awesome pop of blue that kind of just makes everything stand out. Love it. So what I did was I used our Journey craft glue. I used it just because it's easy. I like easy. And it allows me to kind of shift and shimmy my paper a little bit. It gives me a little bit of time. There we go. You know, I make mistakes, and so I like anything that gives me a little bit of wiggle room. And then from here, I just kind of move it so that it's kind of centered as best as I can. Burnish it a little bit with my fingers there so that it adheres well. Pretty pretty. Okay, and then the same thing to the other side. Grab that Journey glue. Wichita, Kansas. Mexico, Maine? Kathy, there's a Mexico, Maine? I don't think I knew that. Hi, Lori. Good to see you. Glad you popped on. Working on our Journey Sketch 31. Celebrating the fact that I can create again, or at least have able to create last night and today. Mexico, Maine. Interesting. I've never heard of it. Do you guys have Mexican food up there? I'm thinking not. Yes, Latoria, North Dakota. All right, so that's basically the base. And like I said, remember, it does overlap a little bit, but that's okay, because remember, we're going to be covering this, okay? No Mexican food. Yeah, I didn't think so, Kathy. Okay, so now you've got your base of your card, and now we can kind of focus on some of the fun embellishments, right? So wasn't that easy? Super easy. It wasn't too hard, not too hard at all. Hi, Michelle. Good to see you. Dublin, California. This is kind of funny. All sorts of interesting cities in states like Dublin, for example. Not Dublin, Ireland, or is it Scotland? But California. Okay, so we're going to move on to the embellishment portion. So you've got your base, card base, super easy. So you can create, for this sketch, you can create this type of card, or like I said earlier, just any card that matches this particular sketch where it's got the triangles and then something in the center. All right, now what I used was our Bloom cluster die, which is one of my favorites, okay? Our Bloom cluster die. I love it. I love it because, for lots of reasons. One of the reasons is it's big, but you can trim it and it could be like multiple sizes. You've got the big piece, which is what I used today. I used all of it, the entire piece, and I went ahead, just for time's sake, and went ahead and die cut it out, just because, again, I didn't want to go through all that, but it does have, sometimes it leaves these little pieces that you can just kind of poke out, and I'm using our Journey Bloom tool, which is amazing. If you don't have one, you definitely want one. And I die cut it out using our Journey Brush Gold paper. Okay, we have Journey Brush Silver and Journey Brush Gold, and it's kind of like this nice, I was going to say matte, but it's almost kind of like a sateen finish, okay? Spartanburg, South Carolina. Hi, Anita. We lived in Columbia for, gosh, 8 months. Hi, Patricia. Vancouver, huh? Hi, Chris. Good to see you. Okay, so I went ahead and did that. Anyways, I was saying I love it because you can trim it and use it all different parts. Probably in my little stash of die cuts, I've got parts, all sorts of different parts for this particular die. Again, it's the Bloom Cluster die. Now, I do have to pause for a minute, guys, because if you don't know about our Banners and Bows sale that's going on right now, you need to know it, because I used our Amaze machine to cut this die, and it is on sale. So if you don't know what this Amaze machine is, hopefully you can see it there. It is on sale. If you buy the Banner and Bow bundle for $89.70, you can get this machine basically for the cost of shipping, which is $15, which is amazing. Just had to tell you, okay? If you don't know about it, ask your Journey Coach, and if you are a Journey Coach, hopefully you do know about it. Just to pique your interest there. I use my Amaze machine to cut my die out. Okay, that's the easy part. I also used a 1.5, I believe it's 1.5, yes, 1.5 by 1.5 square okay, that kind of centers everything on my card. And I kind of base everything off of that. But I'm going to put that off to the side for a minute so I can show you how we did the flowers. So I'm going to put that up here. Now for our flowers, I used, again, our A Better Place stamp set, and I used these main images here. So our largest, the medium, and kind of the small. I didn't use the solid on this one because I wanted to use our watercolors to color these in. So what I did, excuse me, was I took our, oh goodness, why am I blanking out on our ivory color paper? It's buttercream. I remember. Our buttercream paper. Hi Karen, good to see you. Thanks for popping in. I used our buttercream paper and our clear pigment ink and our Journey Gold embossing powder. And I didn't do that here, but I will show you how to do it on the other one. But I went ahead and I embossed those in gold, as you can see here. So pretty. And then I colored them using our watercolor pencils, which I was going to show you just one flower, okay? I'm not going to go through the entire card just because that would be quite lengthy, but I'll show you one flower of how I did it. So I did use some water in our little Journey little media misters, okay, quite nice and handy. I grabbed one of our little acetate sheets that our stamps come on. I'm going to move this off to the side a little bit. Move that off camera. And then our blending brushes, and I have a small and a medium blending brush. Okay, and as you can see, this is still left over from the last time. I guess I did this yesterday, and it dried up, but I can still use it, which is great. Now, y'all, my phone is dying, so I'm going to plug it in. Give me a minute. You might see my cord. I don't know. You might not. You probably heard that. Anyway, hopefully that won't be in the video. But at least my phone won't die now. All right. So, get some water. Now what I did, I just sprayed it, and actually I'll go ahead and reuse this, or some of it anyway. But I will tell you what I used. The first one I used is, now these are our watercolor pencils. I'll go ahead and show you the box just in case you're not familiar with them. So here are our Color Splash watercolor pencils. So there's 48 colors. They're super awesome. I really enjoy playing with these. The tin is great because it has a fun little palette, color palette you can create. And of course all the pencils, and there's another rack underneath it. But for this particular flower, I use 9 as the kind of the base of the flower. It just kind of gets it going. It gets my paper wet and just kind of gets everything started. My brush is a little, I did not clean my brush. You should probably clean your brushes, guys. Just a little lesson there. I started with 9. I'm gonna grab some of that water, and I just created a very, very light little paste. Not paste, paint, I guess you can say. And I colored this over all of them. And this was basically like my starting point. Okay. I guess I'll do this medium one just so that it's not too time consuming here. And as you can tell, I am not taking any particular care. I'm just coloring, making sure that the entire flower is saturated a little bit. And no, this isn't watercolor paper, it's just our regular buttercream paper, but our paper is quite thick, and so it makes for a good, it holds in these watercolors pretty decently. And we do have watercolor paper too, which is nice. But I was like, it's no point in, I'm only using it for the flowers, so it works. So the other colors that I used, so that's a little base, and I do, as you color, you kind of want it to stay fairly moist, because when it dries, it's harder for you to blend the colors. The next 2 that I used are 2 and 13. So really for the flowers, I just used these 3, 9, 2, and 13, all right? And I went kind of for this orangey color next. This little orangey is kind of like a red orange, and I'm using the same the same kind of paste that I got from the lighter one. It helps with the blending, makes it more of a natural transition from the light to dark. There's always the great tip of, you know, if you're worried, go lighter and then work your way up to dark. If you're doing watercolor, use your water and see if they feel like you went too dark on one, you can get some water and try to blend it out that way. Now what I'm doing here is I'm just applying color. I'm not worrying too much about where it's going, but you'll notice I'm kind of leaving the edges light. I was kind of going for the dark to light look on this, where the dark is towards the middle and it gets lighter as it goes out. Okay. Then I'm going to lighten it up just a little bit to try to blend that orange and that kind of basic color. Hi, Wendy. Good to see you. Try not to get some of that green in there. So I'm going to come back and just, again, I'm going over this little middle where the orange and the beige, or the, whatever you want to call that light color, kind of meet. Just so there's not like this stark line between the two. Again, you're trying to go for kind of like a natural blend. So again, you can add more water or start off light. Okay, so I've got the orange, and now I'm going to go for the red, which is a little bit, I mean, it's still kind of like an orangey red, but a little bit more red, and you'll see as it comes out of the pencil, it's a little bit more red than this other one. You can probably see that there. And now I'm going to come in and just hit just these edges here where there might be a natural shadow. Again, if you feel like you see a real stark line, it's okay, because you're going to be able to go in with a little bit more water and lighten that up. All right. All right, I'm going to pause for a minute. I'm going to go back and I'm going to blend a little bit. I'm going to grab my smaller brush, and I'm going to make sure it's clean because I used it for green last. And I'm going to try to blend some of those colors. Hi, Lynn. Lynn Love, what are you laughing at? What are you laughing at? I want to know. All right, so I'm grabbing some of the lighter color, or excuse me, some of the water, and then blending a little bit in here. Again, just, you can use water to blend really easily. And if you feel like it's you know, if it's picking up still a little too dark, go back and blend it a little bit more. It's key that you blend while the paper is still a little damp. Okay? I'm not trying to get rid of all of my little light edges. I like my light edges. And then the last, kind of like the last step to kind of make it pop a little bit. You're enjoying. Okay, I'm glad you're enjoying it, Lynn. To make it pop a little bit is I go directly, while the paper is wet, directly from pencil to paper. You're going to start seeing it pop now because it's adding contrast. It's much darker. There you go, all the way in the center. I'm also going to come in and add a little bit of that orange as well. And do the same kind of thing. Because I wanted this to be a little bit like a, you know, a melon-y, orangey, reddish type flower. There we go. And then I might blend just a wee bit. Just a wee bit. There's, again, just where that dark line meets the lighter. Real small strokes. There we go. And I think I'm going to leave it at that. And you know, my favorite part about this is the shimmer. Isn't that so pretty? I don't know if you can see that. There's the shimmer. I just love it. Isn't that so gorgeous? I love it. So pretty. That's what makes this flower. Let's see if I can zoom in a little bit. I don't know if that's blurry or not on y'all's end of things. But that's basically it. So I would color all 3 flowers in that similar way, and then I would fussy cut them out. Okay, I'm not going to do that here just because it would just take too much time, and I don't want this video to be forever long. So I did that. You do that with all your flowers. Okay, I'll move this over, and then you'd have those cut. I'll move this back over here, and then you're going to work on your, because you got most of your card base done. The only thing that you need on your card base is to make that beautiful background, which is so pretty. I love it, so pretty. I used the medium flower from the set, so then grab it and bring it over. So this is the large one, this is the medium one. Of course, you can make any mixture, or you can choose any combo that you'd like. Grab one of our blocks. Okay, and then this is where you would use that clear pigment ink. And I'm going to open this up. Hi, Pam. Don't worry, you could always catch the replay. And you are going to ink that up and stamp away. But before you do, I don't know if you guys ever use one of these little static cling pads. I don't even remember where I bought this. I'm sure I bought it at a stamp show somewhere, but it basically, if you just, kind of run it through, it helps the embossing powder to not stick where it shouldn't. It helps. Okay, so we're just gonna put this all over everywhere. Tanya, hi, Tanya, it's good to see you. What did I stamp to make it shimmer? This right now, I'm doing the clear pigment ink, and then I'm going to use our Journey Gold embossing powder. So you're gonna get to see what I did to create that flower, because I did this earlier off screen, but I'm gonna show you that same process here. So I did that. Now I'm gonna go ahead and start stamping. There's one, and you can kind of sort of see the image, so you won't be completely blind as to where you're stamping. I just try to fill in as much of the space as possible, and then where there was like, overlay or whatever, I didn't want to have that to get on there. I just brought another scratch piece of cardstock or paper or whatever you have, whoops, and cover it, because you don't want that to pick up any of it either. Okay, there's that, and then maybe I'll do one here, and it's totally okay if they overlap a little bit. You're just going for a mixed background look. Okay, so I think that's good. Maybe I'll do one little bitty, probably inconsequential, right there. Yeah, good. All right, so we did that. Now here we're gonna go ahead and bring the powder, embossing powder over. I'm bringing over my media tray as well. Don't y'all love embossing powder? It makes everything kind of magical. So you're just gonna spread the powder wherever you stamped. The clear pigment ink picks up the powder. Then you're gonna brush it off, or tap it off rather. There's a little bit there, so I just grab that extra brush. There we go. Since this middle part is going to be covered, I'm not going to worry about stamping something here. And then from here, you take a heat gun. I'll brush off any of that excess. You're going to take a heat gun to it and let it go to town. So I'm going to go ahead and bring my heat gun over. Hopefully it will reach. All right, you may not be able to see my heat gun, but you'll certainly hear it, and you'll certainly see the effects of it. So here we go. Actually, let me close this over. I don't want that to get affected. All right. So basically, you're just going to apply heat to it, and the heat will basically melt the powder and turn it shiny. It's magic. So you'll start seeing that here. There it goes. And it just kind of travels up. Do be careful not to burn yourself. Do you see that? I don't know if it's picking it up on camera. Can you see it now? If I do it this way. I'll have to get a longer extension cord later so you guys can see, but there it goes. Now it's shiny and beautiful. So now you've created your own background for your card panels. That's so pretty. And you'll do the same thing on both sides. So I'm gonna come over to this side and do this side super quickly. So I'm gonna brush on this anti-static powder, grab some more of the pigment ink, and stamp away. And like I said, you can see this, I mean, not like super well, but you can see mostly where you're stamping, so that helps. There's that. I'm gonna bring this little guy over so I don't stamp on the blue. I think I just did, but oh well. We'll be fine. All right, let me see. I think that's all I want on here. Maybe I'll want a little bitty bit there on the corner just so it's a little even. There we go. All right, so now I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna grab that media tray and grab the gold embossing powder. I didn't even clean it up. I just left it right there. Add a little bit more. And then attack it with the heat gun, and then that will turn into that beautiful gold that the other side did. Isn't that fun? So basically we just created our own background for the card. Okay, and I have to put this up, so forgive me for taking time to do that, but knowing me, if I don't put it up now, I'll knock it over, or it'll just be not good. Trust me. Trust me. Or my cat will step on it. Oh, it's bad news. Bad news. All right, and then basically, like I said, get that heat gun to it, and it will turn to magic just like the other one. Here we go. Kind of hoping that you could see the change in the camera. Here it goes. Oh, I'm sorry you keep losing connection, Karen. Okay, now we've got this beautiful background. Isn't that gorgeous? Gorgeous. Okay, so we really pretty much have most of all of our pieces, and I'm not going to make the whole card just because I would need to make a few. I need to color the flowers and I have to fussy cut them out, but you kind of get the idea, right? The last little part is basically making the inside panel. Okay, and the inside panel was super easy. Basically, I grabbed a piece of our buttercream and I cut it to 4 1/8 by 5 1/4. Okay, and mainly I did that just so that it would slide easily in and out. And technically, if you wanted to trim it a little bit more, which I think actually the original one I did trim to 4. So I'll go ahead and do that. So 4, not 4 1/4, or excuse me, not 4 1/8. 4 inches by 5 1/4 makes it slide out pretty easily. Now, I used some of our retired Journey vellum paper, and it's retired, so it's no longer available. But you can do the same thing with our striped wall stamp set, which is one of my favorite stamp sets. And you can use the clear clear pigment ink and the embossing powder to create a gold striped background. Or you can use our gold ink, our gold pigment ink, and that works, would work just the same way too. But this was me being lazy and using what I had. I mean, I do have the striped wall, but this, again, I'm like, I have the paper, it's nice and easy, so I'm just gonna go for it. All right, so basically this would slide in. So that's basically what this card is. Okay, so your message would go on the back, unless you wanted to add anything extra, okay? So from here, you would have your little 1.5 inch square, and bring along some of these pop dots, your little foam squares. Put one on each opposite side. And put it right smack dab in the middle to kind of adhere those together. Like that. So this is kind of intended to be like a band, okay, like a belly band. So it just kind of holds your quote unquote card in place, okay? Then from there would be your bloom cluster. I don't know why I forgot the name of that. We've got so many of these, I oftentimes forget. And again, use your Journey Craft Glue for this and just put a little bit down in there. Just a little bit, that's all. The way I aligned it was I had it kind of come over, kind of towards, angling out towards the side there. And then just kind of, once you have it in place, press it down, okay? From here, you would have your flowers that you've already done, cut out, and they would go your largest one on the bottom, then your medium size, and then your small to the upper right-hand corner. And then your card is done, which is what we've got right here. Isn't that fun? For whatever reason, lately I've been into this deal where I'm making cards without sentiments, but I'm kind of liking it because it kind of can go for many or various different occasions, which is kind of great. So it gives you some options there. All right, I'm going to take this out from this view. You can see me again. All right, so what do you think, guys? Was that good? That fold was, I thought it was pretty simple. And the flowers, yes, there is some fussy cutting involved with the flowers, but they're worth it. They're so worth it. I always think that fussy cutting is worth it. Oh gosh. Well, hi there. Every time I move, it gets unplugged from my from my computer, so forgive me for that. Anyway, all right, well, I think that's it. Let me know if you guys have any questions. I think I answered the embossing gold one. It's our gold embossing powder for that person who asked, and hopefully you saw that. I think Pam, you had asked that. Hopefully you saw what I did there. It basically uses our clear pigment ink pad, our embossing gold, and our heat gun. So all of which we obviously sell. So if you are a Journey Coach, then look in your dashboard and get one. If you're not a Journey Coach, then find your Journey Coach and have them order you one. Okay, you're welcome, Pam. All right, well guys, hopefully you enjoyed it. Hopefully you're maybe I'm sorry, I'm so sorry. This is just kind of, it's I'm gonna unplug my phone. Hopefully you'll play with me this week with this sketch. All right. Okay, I better end now before something else goes wrong. Thanks so much for watching, and we will talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.